So welcome back guys to We Talk Boxing, and in this video I'm going to be talking about Jaron Ennis and his opponent for his next up and coming fight, and that is Eimantas Stanionis. Hopefully I pronounced his name correct. Now this bout is scheduled to take place on the 12th of April and it's going to be in America. So this will be the first time that both of these guys have fought generally and even as professionals as well, but it's currently for the IBF strap, which is the belt that Jaron Ennis currently holds, so he's currently the IBF champion. But both of these guys are pretty much considered the best in the division. Stanionis, I'm sure, from the 28th of Feb, according to Boxing.live, he was the WBA champion, so I'm sure he's still the WBA champion, but on BoxRec it doesn't state that whether or not the WBA is going to be on the line. It would make sense that it is because the winner takes all, and I'm no doubt guarantee that the winner potentially will become the ultimate main man in the division and probably capture that vacant ring belt as well at 147. Now, in terms of Ennis, most of my viewers should know who Jaron Ennis is. Again, one of the best in his, well, pretty much is the best in his division, even though there are four other champions, but most consider him to be the main man in the division. Currently took over the throne from Terence Crawford, who vacated and pretty much moved up to 154. But Stanionis is ranked number 2 in the rankings. And as I mentioned earlier, he is, according to Boxing.live, and from the 28th of February this year, he is, or was I should say, the WBA champion as well. So I think this should be a unification, but I'm not 100% sure. I need to double check on that later on. But in terms of Stanionis, currently 15-0, brilliant record, excellent record. 9 KOs out of his 15 fights. 30 years of age, 5'8" according to BoxRec, with a 68-inch reach. Started his career back in 2017. Prior to that, he had 66 amateur bouts, so quite a lot of amateur experience behind him. But in terms of Stanionis, ranked pretty much the best Lithuanian boxer, and currently number 7 in the world according to BoxRec. But again, you can't really take BoxRec's rankings. You have to take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt, because when you click on the rankings, it's got people like Lewis Crocker ahead of Stanionis and Ryan Garcia and Brian Norman Jr. as well. So yeah, you have to take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt. But looking on his record itself, looking at some of the fighters that he's pretty much been in there with, Stanionis, there's no real noticeable names for me. No names that really stand out and capture your eye. Like, oh, he's fought him and he's beat him and he's, you know what I mean, or he did well against him, or etc. A lot of the people, to me anyway, because the welterweight division is not what it once was, more of the unknowns. Like, I'm clicking on his last fight, which he took, which he had in May last year, was against the Gabriel Matices. Definitely butchered his name, but this guy at the time was 6-1, so one draw in his record. 38 years of age. Why is Stanionis taking on someone like this guy? It's pointless, regardless of it being a comeback fight. It's just something that you don't do. Yes, he's been out of the ring for 2 years, because prior to that fight, his last fight prior to that was in 2022, which he then took on a Russian, again with at the time a 14-0 record. So yeah, unknown. From my point of view, exactly the reasons why he's been out of the ring for 2 years. It could probably be injury, it could probably be illness, maybe family issues, maybe contract disputes, pullouts. Don't really know. Maybe you guys could tell me in the comments below. But this is his first true test since coming back into the welterweight scene. So hopefully we'll see how he gets on against pretty much who most consider the main man in the welterweight division. But anyhow, for most of my subscribers, you should know who Jaron Ennis is, but I'll give you a quick breakdown if you don't. Currently 33-0 with 29 KOs out of those 33 fights. Currently ranked number 1 in America and number 1 according to BoxRec as well. He started his career back in 2016, and according to BoxRec, he's 5'10" with a 74-inch reach, and he was born and resides out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So again, his hometown boy. He's 27 years of age, orthodox boxer, and that's Jaron Boots Ennis. Now, he stayed active, Boots Ennis, and he's roughly averaging, give or take, 2 fights a year, apart from in 2022 where he only had that 1 fight, but he's averaging 2 fights a year. Now, looking on his record, he's got some decent names, some good names on his record, and the shame about someone like Jaron Ennis is that you can only beat the people that are in front of you at this pretty much moment in time in terms of your weight division. Now, the welterweight division's not what it once was, hasn't really got the same name or doesn't really carry the same pedigree as what it once was, but he's got to do a job. He's got to try and go in there and clean up the division before moving up to the next division, and that's pretty much what Terence Crawford did. Now, I don't know his team, don't know him personally, but he's going after someone like Stanionis now. I guess he truly believes that he's going to beat Stanionis, so that will give him 2 out of the 4 belts. So it makes sense to kind of try and capture the rest of the belts. He's already tried to make the fight with Brian Norman Jr. That didn't materialise, so I'm guessing next it could be maybe Barrios that could try and entice into the ring before trying to get that undisputed fight maybe with Brian Norman Jr. at the end of the year, but it makes sense for him to try and clean up the division. Now, in terms of my predictions for this fight, I believe Jaron Ennis will probably have a little bit too much for Stanionis. Now, I'm not disrespecting Stanionis, haven't really seen much of him, but he's been out of the ring for 2 years, and his comeback fight was against someone that he shouldn't have been in the ring with, to be honest. Now, when you're going from that level of opposition to someone like Jaron Ennis' level of opposition, there's too much of a big jump in my eyes. Don't get me wrong, the first few rounds, maybe first 4 to 5 rounds will probably be quite competitive, but then from that point onwards, I believe that Jaron Ennis should start to just push ahead a little bit more and start to set his dominance on the fight and become a little bit more destructive and more poised in what he does. And he might even get a late stoppage, who knows. But I do believe that if Ennis isn't up for this fight, or if he takes this fight lightly, that he has got a potential to lose, because this guy's coming in there to win. And he fully believes in himself. So Ennis has to be on his A game, and it can't be a performance how he fought against Chukanasian last. It has to be a good performance. In my eyes, one of his best performances, because this guy truly believes that he's going to cause an upset. So he has to go out there and leave nothing unturned, no stones unturned, sort of thing. But these are my thoughts. I fully believe that Jaron Ennis would be a little bit too much for his opponent. I'm predicting a late stoppage, maybe around 10-11, but I won't be surprised if this fight goes the full distance and Ennis wins on points. I just think he's going to be too slick, too quick, too much hand skills, and I just think he's just going to be a little bit too smart and sharp for Stanionis, and that's probably because, for me, Stanionis probably needed to have a few more real tough competitive fights before stepping up to someone like Jaron Ennis. But you guys can let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you see this fight, and who are you predicting to win? Is it going to be by a KO, points, or stoppage? And as always, guys, please subscribe and comment. Bless.